Welcome to Broad Entertainment. This is not an NFL podcast. This
Yet.
is not a Texans podcast.
Yet.
Never. But with the NFL season about to kick off later this week, we decided to have an episode on the NFL.
We did.
We did. Actually, we teased it last episode, didn't we?
I think we talked about it a little bit towards the end.
Yeah, but speaking of ends, we've been plugging our stuff at the end of the podcast. Now we're going to do it at the start, so now you guys have to listen to us talk about our Twitters and all that good stuff early on, because we're evil.
So, go ahead and plug your channel and your Twitter.
Okay, follow me on Twitter at Mr.Mediocre _YT for some, great content on Twitter. I usually mess around. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Mr.Mediocre, for some outstanding Texans content and some nice little live streams. And sub to my second channel, L Sticky's Lair, for some random stuff.
Well, after you do all of that stuff, you can go and follow me on Twitter at Views of Phoenix.
Don't do it.
I'm a great follow on Twitter. An amazing, actually. But after you follow me on Twitter, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube. Also, Views of Phoenix. And then we got to make sure that we're liking, commenting, sharing on this podcast too.
Yes, share it with your sister, your brother, your mother, your preacher.
Everyone. I don't know about your preacher.
Get your preacher to preach it.
Hijack your church's sermon and plug the Broad Entertainment podcast.
Yes, and
I'll send you $100.
But you have to send proof. Like, send a video.
You have to have like a video. Like, get it playing through the church over the intercom and get it on video, even if it's just a second. And I will send you $100.
What are we, man? Like, we're telling these people to do some crazy things.
We're heathens.
We're evil. I mean, what can we say? I mean, we're view hungry. We're money hungry. We're greedy, evil people.
I like money.
Get that shit clear. Okay. But, let's get to the topic at hand. The MLB sucks. NFL season's here.
I didn't know where you were going with that at first.
Yeah, but the NFL season is finally here, kicking off, what is it, the 10th of September at 7:30 p.m., the good time, the central time. Okay, let's get this shit clear. Good time is central time. Texans versus Chiefs. Now, with the return of the NFL, what are you most excited about? Like, not just Texans and Chiefs, because this is not a Texans podcast. Like, just NFL in general.
When it comes to just the NFL season, I think the thing I'm most excited for is to see how all these rookie receivers that everybody's been hyping up actually perform at the next level. Because there were a lot of guys that were called first-round talents, even if they weren't, Michael.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, something in my throat there. But I think that's what I'm most looking forward to, because there are guys that I have a lot of faith in, like Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb, T. Higgins, guys like that.
And LaVisca Chenault.
Oh, that's your favorite. I can't take it.
LaVisca Chenault, sponsor us.
While we're at it, CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, and T. Higgins sponsor us too.
Yes, everyone sponsor us.
But what about you? What you looking forward to, man?
Honestly, just having a whole Sunday to just watch football. Like, I wake up, I go to church, get back home, eat some breakfast, and then boom, football's on from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m., 11 p.m. sometimes, depending how long that late game takes. Like, just a whole day of football. Like, I always, and I'm pretty sure you like this too, I always try to watch as many games as possible. Like, I love football, and I tell this to my viewers all the time. I think I'm a bigger NFL fan than I am a Texans fan. Like, that's why I'm able to sit back and kind of view things from a different perspective when it comes to the Texans. Like, a lot of people just view it from the Texans fan standpoint, but I view it from more of a league standpoint. And, like, I'm just happy, of course you got the fantasy football, you got, Madden as well, and then, the whole, with the NFL coming back, it gets you in the mood to go out and play football too. So, like, I don't know, man, it's like, football season is just amazing, I love it, and, just an all-around fun time.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way as far as like watching games and stuff. I try to watch a lot of the games, but most of the time, if I know it's going to be a crappy game, I don't. I'm gonna be honest, I don't watch. Like, if it was the Browns team that went 0-16 against last year's Dolphins team, I'm not watching that game. Why would I want to watch that game? There's nothing to bring me in. But, like, I'll watch a mediocre team play a good team just to see how the mediocre team looks for, like, their young players versus the veteran, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, for me, like, early on in the season, like, probably, like, from week 1 to, like, week probably about 14, 15, I watch every single game I possibly can. But then, like, at that point, I start getting, like, little bit of fatigue, I'm like, whatever, I don't care about, like you said, like, the Browns versus the Jaguars, something like that. I don't care about that, so I decide not to go watch it. And of course, like, later on during the season, it's that holiday season, so, like, you go out to a pumpkin patch and all that good stuff, so, you don't have every Sunday free at that point. But I'm pretty sure one thing you're looking forward to with the NFL coming back is the fact that you don't have work on Sunday for, like, the whole season.
Yeah, no. I told them I will not be available on Sundays.
They asked him why, and he said, I got church.
Oh, yeah, no. Wait, shit. I got a few people who listen to this from my work. Shit.
We can edit.
I'm a holy boy. I do have church. Praise Jesus.
Are we bad people?
Just a little bit.
Oh man, but I'm so excited, man. Like, what we should invent though? Like,
what?
A church with football implemented.
I think that already exists.
Oh, does it?
I think so. I don't think it's very popular.
I mean,
because a lot of churchgoers probably aren't fans of taking a break from prayer to see if the Chiefs get this touchdown or not.
Think about it, man. Think about it. Like, annoying wife wants to drag you and the children to church. Sorry, annoying wives out there, sponsor us. Like, they want to drag you to church, but you want to watch football. You want to watch your Green Bay Packers and drink you a ice cold Bud Light. But she's making you go to church, and happy wife, happy life. So you have to go to church, so you miss out on your game. But what if there was a church where they played the NFL games? You get to watch your NFL games, and you go to church.
I think it only works if you can, like, tailgate at the church like Buffalo Bills fans do.
And break tables.
Like bring folding tables and slam your friends through it while his dress shoes are flying through the air. I think that'd make it a lot better.
Oh man, and get drunk off the blood of Jesus. We're bad people. I'm a bad person. I'm sorry.
You got to say a couple Hail Marys after Aaron Rodgers throws a Hail Mary.
Oh man.
We probably like
Yeah.
losing some of our
Yeah.
church going
We're
viewers.
sorry, man. Like we're just excited for the NFL season. I mean, what can I say? Okay, so but like with week one around the corner, like is there any particular matchup that you're really looking forward to week one besides Texans versus Chiefs? Because let's be honest, that one's gonna be a real good game.
I mean, other than Texans versus Chiefs, yes and no. Because again, I'm a Texans fan. I'm gonna look forward to the Texans more than any other team.
Yeah.
Like I think that's kind of natural for anybody,
Like I
right?
yeah, I got two that I'm like really looking at. Like I'm so excited for them.
I'm surprised you had any other than the Texans, to be
Oh no,
honest.
honestly, I think I'm more excited for one of them for sure. But yeah, I think I'm more excited for these games than the Texans game.
Well, I think the first one I'm excited for is going to be the Bucks opener,
Oh,
mainly
absolutely.
because I want to see if the Bucks offseason was all hype or not.
Yeah,
Because if it was, Bucks are in for a long season.
yeah, Bucks at Saints, man. Like that's a real good matchup. I really hope it's televised because sometimes like they be putting these terrible matchups on TV and like it's so annoying because like obviously you could get that what is it called, the NFL Sunday season ticket, like where you could switch through it whatever. But
Hmm.
me living in Texas, obviously we get the Texans games. I don't care about that, but we also get the Cowboys games. And if the Cowboys are on, they don't show any other game but the Cowboys game. And that's so annoying because the Cowboys can be playing someone like the Washington football team, but then you have, I don't know, say the Packers and Saints playing at the very same time, and they're not going to show that one because the Cowboys are playing. Like, I hate it. But
I
yeah,
like your emphasis on Washington football team as well.
oh yeah, man.
I noticed you got a little bit closer to the mic to say that one.
Yeah, I have to let people know, man. They're the Washington football team now. But yeah, Buccaneers at Saints, real fun game. I'm also looking forward to the Monday night doubleheader. Actually, the late game where the Titans go to Denver to take on the Broncos, because the Broncos are also kind of like one of those teams that are like getting hyped up. So let's see if they can live up to that hype and with that supposed to be high powered offense versus this Tennessee team who last year obviously went to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, I mean, that actually wasn't one of the games I was thinking. One of the
Ooh.
games I was more looking forward to was the Cleveland Browns versus the Ravens.
Oh, my Cleveland Browns, man.
Because, I mean, at least to me, that's going to be an interesting game because you got a new, healthy, semi healthy Browns team
hmm
coming back. You got Baker Mayfield trying to prove the doubters wrong and prove that he was worth the number one pick. You've got that. You've got the Ravens trying to come back and show them that it wasn't just a fluke season last year with Lamar Jackson and that offense. I just think it's going to be an interesting game from all sides, even if it's like a one-sided game.
Yeah, but I'm surprised you didn't mention the Dolphins game, your boy Tua.
Well, see, I didn't mention that one because I don't, at least not that I've seen, I don't think they've announced Tua as the full starter.
That they haven't, but I mean, I think he should be the starter.
Well, see, my theory with it is they might try to save Tua because they don't know how that offensive line is going to be. They want to make sure that their new franchise quarterback isn't going to just go in there and in the first five plays get lit up and knocked out the game.
Yeah,
So they
that's
might
true.
kind of sacrifice Fitzpatrick. Love Fitzpatrick, but
Hey, Fitzy down for that, man. He don't care. He'll put his life on the line for his team.
Ryan Fitzpatrick is like the PJ Tucker of quarterbacks. Like he
Absolutely.
is willing to die on the field for a
Yeah.
first down.
Just like PJ Tucker, getting them
Matter of
rebounds
fact,
versus them Lakers.
Don't get me started. That made my night, honestly. I'm still a little shaky from like yelling at my TV at the Lakers players. But
But
um but no, I think another game that'll be interesting is the Raiders and the Panthers,
ooh,
because the Panthers just went out and paid Teddy Bridgewater. I think it was like a 3-year deal with
yeah,
a good bit of money, not like 30 mil or anything, but I think it's like 16, 17 mil to Bridgewater. So you're going to be able to see if Teddy Bridgewater is going to be the new long-term quarterback for the Panthers. Then you've got the Raiders coming through with their new offense, basically entire new receiving core with one of my guys from Alabama, Henry Ruggs, who I'm gonna be honest has kind of been getting bottled up in practice.
oh, Arnett.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I think for Ruggs, his big thing is like he's so used to just being able to use his like pure speed to destroy people that he hasn't really perfected his route running. He hasn't worked that great on his release and creating separation and things like that. So he's got the natural athleticism. It's just about whether or not he can learn those little nuance things.
Yeah. I think another interesting one, and Texans fans, I know you guys are watching. This was gonna hurt you, but Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins versus the Niners. Like right off the bat, like we get to see if this Cardinals team can compete in this division because they play the Niners. So, personally, I think they're like a year away, but right off the bat here in week one, we get to see like can they compete with Seattle and San Francisco or not. And I think it's going to be an interesting game because personally, I don't think the Niners have the DBs to contain DeAndre.
See, I'm not too interested in that, mainly because I think the Cardinals have one of the worst offensive lines in football
Oh,
still.
that yeah, they do.
So I think it's going to be a lot worse of an offense than people are expecting, especially when you're facing off against Javon Kinlaw, Ford, Bosa,
Eric Armstead.
all these elite pass rushers. And then on top of it, you said you don't know if they got the DBs to help contain DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
They do have decent enough safeties that they can have help cheat on DeAndre Hopkins. And then they also have Fred Warner, who's a really athletic linebacker that could probably shadow over towards Hopkins' side as well. But, I mean, I can understand where people would say it's interesting, but I'm just not, into that one.
I'm surprised you didn't mention the Falcons and Seahawks game.
Yeah, no, that is an interesting one, but I think Atlanta is honestly going to upset in that one
Ooh.
because I think people are starting to overrate Seattle a little bit now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they did get that amazing trade for Jamal Adams to pair with Bobby Wagner on the defense. They still have a lot of holes on that team.
Yeah, that D line and O line is god awful, man. Like, and you know how they say in football, it starts in the trenches, and their trenches are god awful.
And see, that's the thing. I think the Falcons have the better offensive line, and I think they got the better defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
So winning in the trenches, the Falcons are going to start off doing that. And then on top of it, I don't know if they have the defensive backs to cover the Falcons receivers, because the Falcons are still sending out one of the best receivers
Julio.
ever. Not like in the league right now, just ever.
And Calvin Ridley ain't a scrub either, so.
Oh, no, absolutely not. And the rumor I've been seeing, because the Patriots did just let him go, is that they could probably bring back Mohamed Sanu.
Imagine. And they did trade for Hayden Hurst as well.
They did. They did lose Hooper, So that is kind of a swap, and I think Hayden Hurst will be fine in the offense. But I don't know. I just see the Falcons upsetting because I think the Chiefs, or not the Chiefs, I think the Seahawks are starting to buy into their own hype a lot.
Yeah.
Plus, I think Todd Gurley is going to have like a 200-yard game to start the season.
Damn. Yeah,
Like Todd, I really think Todd Gurley is going to be a monster for the Falcons this year.
I don't know. I just don't see it, man. I think that if he didn't have the arthritis knee, I think he'd be, one of the top running backs in the league. But I don't know. Like, it just worries me too much. Like, yeah, he could be healthy for one game, but the very next game, it's like, oh, my knee hurts, and then he can't go, So.
Well, I mean, I understand that too. But I think just the fact that he's home in Georgia, I think that's going to do a lot for him. And we're going to look at it like, man, why did the Rams let this guy go?
I hope so, man, because Todd Gurley was so fun to watch.
Oh, yeah, no. He was, I'll never forget, his draft class, I was pounding the table for the Texans to get either him or Melvin Gordon. And he went, like, I think it was 6 picks earlier. And then Melvin Gordon got drafted by the Chargers, who traded one spot ahead of us.
Yep, to steal him from us because O'Brien wanted him, apparently.
Yeah.
That sucks. But, like, see what I mean, though? Like, we could honestly, like, sit here and talk about every game, but I feel like we'd go, like, well, past the 1 hour mark. So, like, we're not going to do that. But, something that's kind of circulating around the NFL right now, Jadeveon Clowney. What do you think about the situation, him going to the Saints and, or like Tennessee?
I think the most likely scenario is going to be Clowney going to the Titans. One, because he gets that Houston Texans revenge game that I know he wants. Then it also, at least in his mind, will probably put him in a win-now situation, even though I don't think the Titans are going to be good at all. I think the smart thing for him to do would be to go to the Saints, because that puts him in the best position to try to compete for an actual Super Bowl. But I don't know. It's hard to say because you really haven't heard anything from Jadeveon Clowney this whole time.
Yeah.
All it's been is like, oh, report is or rumor is Clowney is interested in this and this.
Yeah.
But the stuff that he's interested in always ends up falling through. And keep in mind, we're 5 days away when we're recording this from the season.
Oh, yeah, man.
Clowney
needs to make a decision.
Like, it's time's ticking here.
Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if he signed by the time we release this podcast. So just letting you guys know, this podcast was recorded on September 4th, 2020. So just letting y'all know.
Yeah, no, I just don't think it's smart how Clowney's handling this, him or his agent.
Yeah.
Because one, he was turning down big money from teams. And then on top of it, like I said, we're about 5-6 days away from the season. You're going to have to learn whatever team you go to, you're going to have to learn their playbooks. You're going to have to get used to who's around you, like position-wise. You're going to need to learn your coaches. You're going to need to know where you're going to be living. I think he's got either a girlfriend and a child or a wife and a child, one of the two. You're going to have to get them settled in wherever you go to. So it's going to probably hurt his season if he does go somewhere.
Honestly, I think with this whole Clowney situation, I think Clowney ruined, like, not really his NFL career, but his chances at getting big money. Because if you remember, the Cleveland Browns were offering him $18 million a year. He turned that down. I believe we were offering him $18.5 million a year, but he turned that down. And then we tried to trade him to Miami, where he would have got his money because Miami had a bunch of cap. He would have been like the face of the defense, and and an up and coming team, because Dolphins, like in a year or two, I could see them being contenders like for the playoffs. So like he would have been the face of that defense, the face of the franchise type guy, but he turned that down, went to Seattle, had a terrible season, became a free agent, waited this long to sign a contract, and now the rumor is the Saints are offering him a 1-year, $10 million deal. Like, he lost a bunch of money.
And I mean, like you said, that's his own fault for how he handled everything.
Yeah, he completely botched it.
At some point, because I highly doubt Clowney is going to want to sit out a full season, because you missing an entire season, all that does is lower your value even more.
Mm-hmm.
So if he takes less money and doesn't perform, then his value is lowered. But if he sits out the year wanting his money, people are going to question if he's in football shape and if he can handle coming back, and his value is going down. So it's a lose-lose scenario that he's put himself in, and it's his own fault.
Absolutely. Like, honestly, at this point, if Clowney signs, he's going to have a bad year. Like, I don't see him having a good year, so unless he goes to Houston or Tennessee, like, that's where I can see him having the most success, or maybe Seattle, but, you know,
he has to go somewhere where he knows the situation. Like, if he goes to Tennessee, he's got Vrabel, who coached him in Houston. He is going to be in a similar role, I have to imagine, to what he was back when Vrabel was in charge of the defense for Houston. If he goes to the Saints, he doesn't know anybody there.
Yeah, completely brand new situation, brand new defense, brand new coaches, brand new players, brand new city. Like, it's completely brand new.
Yeah, no, it's a really poor decision.
Yeah, I mean, I wish him the best, because, like, I always want players to get their money, because you never know, like, when their career is going to be ended. You know, it could be like, they could have a long career like Frank Ward, they can have like a very short career cut short by injuries or whatever, like an RG3. So like, I always want the players to maximize their earnings, so I wish Clowney the best.
Oh yeah, no, I'm team player.
Yeah.
Like, I might not seem like it, like on my Twitter and stuff, because I talk crap about players and stuff.
Kareem Jackson.
But yeah, I'm never gonna advocate against somebody getting what they're worth.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's why I don't understand why people on Twitter especially are so pro organization.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like, I saw something the other day, and again, I'm a Texans fan. Most of my stuff's going to be Texans related. They were talking about the Texans and their contracts and stuff, and people were complaining that the Texans weren't underpaying their players. And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with giving guys what they're worth.
And it's funny because, like, just last offseason, people were crying about the Texans never keep their players, but now they pay Tunsil and Cunningham, two of their players, what they're worth, because, believe me, that's what they're worth. Honestly, yeah. I even think Cunningham might have got a little bit less than what he's worth, but, you know, that's just me.
I think his contract was fair, mainly because I think, if I'm at least understanding the numbers right, it puts him in a category just below a Deion Jones, which is where I'd put him in like a comp.
Yeah.
So I think that's fair value for Cunningham.
But see, I was going off the basis of like an increasing, like, the market type of thing. So, like, you know, those guys got paid. Cunningham's next, so he's gonna get a little bit more type of deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's all dependent on how you look at it.
Yeah. But
if you look at it like, oh, Cunningham makes a ton of plays, that's probably cheap for him. You can look at it as cheap. Or you could go, oh, I don't know. There's been a lot of times where Cunningham isn't like in the best position. We might have paid a little bit too much for him. It's all perspective based to me.
Yeah. But I'm very happy with both Tunsil and Cunningham contract. But yeah, you know, just last year, fans were like, oh my god, we never pay our guys. And then we pay our guys. Oh my god, why are we paying our guys so much? You want to keep your guys, you got to pay them. That's just the way it goes.
Exactly. And you know who's going to figure that out pretty soon?
The Chiefs.
Yes and no. Not where I was going with it. But I was going to say the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh, yes.
They're going to figure that out really soon.
Yes, they gave Ryan Kelly a huge contract. And, you know, they got to pay, was it Braden Smith and
Darius Leonard
and Quentin Nelson. Think about it. They paid Ryan Kelly the top center money in the NFL. They're gonna have to pay Braden Smith top tier right tackle money, which is right now what 16, 17 mil, something like that.
If they're wanting to keep him, I don't think they'll pay him to be I don't think they'll give him the top money amongst right tackles, but I do think they're going to give him if they're re-signing him, they're going to give him 15 mil a year.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot. And then Quentin Nelson, he's going to have market-breaking money.
I'm going to be honest. I think he's going to have offensive tackle numbers.
Yes.
For a guard.
Yes. I wouldn't be shocked. 20 mil.
I could see him getting the most money out of any offensive lineman ever.
Oh, yeah.
Because you take him out, that offensive line drops from top 5 to top 15.
Absolutely.
It's a big drop off if you take Quentin Nelson off there, and I promise you, Quentin Nelson will have zero trouble getting offers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Someone's going to pay him big money, someone like the Jets or the Dolphins, someone that has that cap space. They'll give him his money because he's very well worth that money. He's earned his contract. The dude's an absolute monster. But see, that's where I think the coach made the mistake, man. I wouldn't have paid Ryan Kelly. I would have waited to pay Braden Smith and Quentin Nelson instead because I think they're more important.
Yeah, no, I don't think Ryan Kelly is to blame for getting that money because Ryan Kelly is a really good center. Yeah, he really is. But when you've got some of the names coming up that you do, I don't know if you can hand out that kind of money just willy-nilly.
Dude, yeah, and Darius Leonard, we were saying, Darius Leonard's going to get market-shattering
Darius Leonard will be the highest-paid linebacker in football.
I think Bobby Wagner and I think C.J. Mosley, they're both making $17.5 million. I want to be shocked.
I could see him getting 20.
Yeah, he's gonna get 20.
Darius Leonard, since he came into the league, has honestly been one of the best linebackers in football.
Yep.
Whether you're talking about run defense, coverage, whatever.
Just an all-around stud.
Yeah, no. So those are just and those are just the main guys they want to keep. You got to keep in mind they also might want to keep a guy like Malik Hooker.
Mm-hmm.
They have other players that are going to be wanting contracts. If I'm not mistaken, Costanzo, their left tackle, doesn't he have one more year?
I believe so, but I also heard he was contemplating retirement after last season, so there's that.
Yeah, it's just a bad situation to be in for them.
Yeah. Okay, so who is, and I know this is way too early, but I feel like when you talk NFL, you gotta mention this. Early Super Bowl picks. Who will be playing in Tampa for the Super Bowl? And who will win?
That is a really, really tough one.
Yeah.
Because it's extremely early. We haven't seen any training camp, preseason.
No preseason. So this is the blindest we've ever been, you know?
It's really tough because there are a lot of good teams in the NFC, especially.
Yeah.
AFC, there are a couple, favorites, of course. But I think my NFC pick, I'm going to go with the Packers.
What?
No, I'm just playing.
Okay, I was like, man, really? I have the Packers missing the playoffs.
No, I'm just playing. But no, I again, it's a hard pick. Packers, I really don't think they're going to do much because I don't think Rodgers will play a full 16, which thrusts a rookie in, you know?
Yeah.
I think if I had to pick an NFC team, like gun to my head, I'd have to pick the Saints.
Ooh.
I think at some point, they're going to break through.
Not if Minnesota makes it again.
But no, I think at some point the Saints have to because it seems like every year for the past like 5 years the Saints have been the favorites in the NFC.
Yeah,
and it's always something that gets
Minnesota Miracle. I think this next one,
call.
The blown call. I think that one's completely BS because I am 100% sure. I am 100% sure the Saints would have went on to the Super Bowl and they would have beat the Patriots.
Oh no, they would have.
Yeah, and Drew Brees would have been a 2-time champion, and he would have been, one of the greatest to ever do it. Even though he already is, but
yeah. Plus, I mean, I want to see Drew Brees go out with.
I love Drew Brees
because I guarantee you, if Drew Brees wins a Super Bowl this year, he will retire.
Yeah,
I guarantee it because he's going to want to go out on top like Peyton Manning.
Not only that, see, that's a Saints cap situation.
Oh yeah, no. I'm surprised they can even afford their rookie class anymore.
Oh yeah, poor Kamara.
Also, before we go any further, I want to go ahead and say the salary cap is a myth.
Oh, absolutely, man.
It is a myth and only exists for teams that the NFL does not like.
Yeah, it's so BS. It's so BS. Like the way the Chiefs are able to fit in all these contracts when they had literally like $600 in cap space is completely BS.
Dude, they paid Patrick Mahomes $500 million over 10 years with that same amount.
Yeah.
After paying Chris Jones.
Yep, and after that they paid Travis Kelce.
And I want to point back to something else too. You remember that Jaguars team that had zero cap space after making it to the championship game that somehow, paid Blake Bortles and paid Andrew Norwell top dollar and paid all these other it's if you pay attention, it's a trend. And I see this all the time where people will say, oh no, it's just the GMs are making great deals and all these specific, and I'm like, yeah, no. You're making money. That's all it is. Like, how did the Chiefs go from $600 in cap space to paying $500 million, $80 million, and so on and so forth?
Mm-hmm.
It's not possible. Like, there's no math that tells you that's possible. Unless you're telling me Patrick Mahomes isn't going to get any of that money other than $600 this year.
Yeah, it's BS, man. Like it'd be different if that they cut a player that was taking up cap space, but they didn't make moves like that. Like they just signed players and they had cap space.
Yeah, no, and I mean it makes the NFL more entertaining because you get the better teams staying better. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, it's such a crock of shit.
No, absolutely, man. But back to Super Bowl picks. See, it was funny. You picked the Saints. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm picking someone in their division.
You're picking the Bucks, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely not. I'm picking the Panthers. No, yeah, I am picking the Bucks, man. Like I was
about to say, is this bold takes again?
No, man, but like. I am fully on board the Buccaneers hype train. Like, I believe in them 100%. Like, I don't know why. There's just something about them. Like, I don't think they're that team, every offseason, some random team, like the Jaguars, the Browns in years past. Oh, my God, they're going all the way. They have a great team. And then they end up falling flat on their face. I just don't see it with the Buccaneers. Like, maybe it's because of Tom Brady. I don't know. Like, I have the Buccaneers going to the Super Bowl. Now, the AFC, honestly, dude, It's probably gonna be the Chiefs. Like,
Nope, not gonna be my pick.
like it's either the Chiefs or the Texans for me. Like that's it. Like I don't see Lamar Jackson getting it done. I don't think Big Ben can stay getting carried by that defense for long enough. Like it's the Texans or Chiefs versus the Buccaneers. That's what I have. I'm not just saying that because I'm a Texans fan. Like I genuinely like do not believe in Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, or Big Ben.
See, I think my AFC pick, I think it'd be the Ravens. I think a Ravens Saints
That'd be
matchup
interesting.
seems about right. Because my thinking with it, in my opinion, the Ravens have the best defense in football and are also the most consistent team. Because if you look at the Ravens, what do we say every year? Oh, that Ravens defense, it's going to be great. Like, when
Mm-hmm.
was the last time you went, man, that Ravens team is going to be trash?
I feel like those late Joe Flacco years, like really late Joe Flacco years, like
But that wasn't because of their defense, though.
2015, 2016, I think.
That was
Yeah,
that offense.
yeah.
They got Lamar Jackson, who is an entire offense on his own. I think Lamar Jackson's going to take a next step. I've been vocal saying that because I see him as like a Deshaun Watson type when it comes to improvement. Every year he gets better. Same with Deshaun. Every year Deshaun Watson gets better, even if it's just in the slightest regard. I think Lamar Jackson has been mainly surviving off his legs, and I think Lamar Jackson is going to surprise people with how well he throws the ball this upcoming season.
That would definitely be interesting because right now, like I have no faith in Lamar Jackson, like because like you said, like he's been relying on his legs too much. Like for me, a quarterback, you have to be able to throw. Like like there's a difference like between a guy like Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson. Like those guys are quarterbacks who can run. Like but Lamar Jackson, he's a running quarterback. Like there's a difference. If Lamar Jackson can become a quarterback who can run, then like he's gonna be very, very dangerous. But I don't know if he's gonna be able to do that, but we'll see. Like that's something else. Like I'm kind of excited about like Lamar Jackson's development, as well
Well,
as
I
Deshaun,
mean,
of course.
I do want to beg to differ on Lamar being a running quarterback. I do think he's in that same category as Russell and Deshaun of quarterbacks who can run. I just don't think he's as developed yet. Because keep in mind, Lamar Jackson hadn't been in the league that long.
In that 2 years,
Yeah,
well,
he
two and
he
a half. Like I mean, the first year he played
like
6 games.
he's
I mean, 1.5.
23 years old. 23.
He's
I don't
just a
see
baby.
in terms of quarterback, absolutely.
That's something that pisses me off, man. Like people don't realize quarterbacks don't enter their prime to like late 20s, 30s, even.
Most quarterbacks start to peak around their 30s, like
Yeah,
30, 31.
yeah. That's like when they like finally seen everything there is to see in the NFL, and they understand every look, everything the defense is giving them, and like yeah. So
But I mean, I think Lamar fits into those same categories as Deshaun and Russell. I just think he isn't there in terms of accuracy and seeing defense yet. Because if you listen to Russell Wilson, that man knows football.
oh yeah.
Like, do not get it twisted.
Even though he's
Like,
corny,
you can call him corny, you can call him goofy, you can say he's ugly, whatever.
he's
You can
handsome.
call him short. It doesn't matter. That man knows how to read a defense.
Yep.
And if you've been listening to what Deshaun Watson's been saying over the past couple of years, majority of the time he's talking about how he's been learning how to read new defenses.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure he was on the NFL's YouTube page explaining defensive assignments against his offense.
Yep.
Like Deshaun Watson knows how to read those
And then
defenses.
remember last year post game, like he would explain to the reporters like what he was doing and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that's really cool because he wasn't being like an
Yeah,
asshole
he
about
wasn't
it.
being douchey. Like he was
He
actually
was
explaining to him.
he was straight up being like, okay, on that interception, do you know why it was an interception? Like not to be like mean or like an ass, but if you don't, this is why. I was reading this, this, and this, and the blah 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 blah, all that stuff,
Yeah.
and he just go through it. I don't think Lamar Jackson's there yet. Um, and this is another thing that goes into it. For those running quarterbacks, a lot of the time the running quarterbacks are a concern because if you're running, you're going to get hit more.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar Jackson doesn't take big hits.
Uh-uh.
Like, I don't think I've ever seen Lamar Jackson just get cracked running out the pocket.
I don't think I have either. Like he's
If I
like
have,
he's good at it. Like in a way, like I don't know. Like he just avoids it. Like he
he's like,
minimizes the impact. It's so weird.
you want to know what's going to be a weird comparison, but I think works?
Big Ben.
No. I was going to compare him to prime Steelers Antonio Brown with his footwork.
uh,
Like, if you watch this man's feet when he's running, he's extremely good with his feet. Like, it's like a wide receiver in open space or a running back in open space. But, like I said, I think he's just getting to the point where they're going to start throwing more, okay, I need you to make these reads for me and that kind of stuff because he's gotten 2 years of now seeing how defenses are going to play his team.
yeah.
Because even once he starts throwing the ball more, they still have to respect his legs.
Oh yeah, because he can like scramble.
Yeah,
Got to put a
like
spot on him.
like I'm not saying he's going to be like the second coming of like Dan Marino or anything like that.
Like here's the
Or
thing. Like if he can if as a thrower, if he can be just as good as a Kirk Cousins, Lamar Jackson would be so dangerous.
you wouldn't be able to stop him.
No, absolutely not. And that's funny how we use like everything as a Kirk Cousins comparison. Like Kirk Cousins is like the definition of average.
Okay, if we want to go away from Kirk Cousins, I'll throw in Andy Dalton. If
Yeah,
he can throw like Andy Dalton, like at his peak, there's no stopping him.
yeah.
Which is possible, I think. All right, I have something for you.
Ooh, is it a cake?
All right, Tubby, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
But it's my birthday.
No, it's not. But what one team would you pick as your sleeper team this year?
Ooh.
Like the one team that is going to do better than everybody thinks they're going to do.
Oh, damn. Like, I don't, honestly, I don't have one this year. Like, every year, I have one, but like this year, I'm going with the Broncos, but I feel like everyone's on that Broncos hype train. I'm also going with the Browns, but I feel like a good chunk of people also believe in the Browns.
You want to know who my team is that I'm rolling with as my sleeper?
Dolphins.
Yes and no.
Aw.
Not who I was talking about in this. The New York Football Giants.
I should have known. You mentioned it the other day.
Yeah, no. I think the Giants are going to surprise a lot of people. Nate Solder is not playing, so their actual good left
Yeah.
tackle that they just took, Andrew Thomas, is going to get to play. They also have, I think his name was Pertz that they drafted. He's going to probably be their right tackle for the future.
Mm-hmm.
With Zeitler and
Will
Will
Hernandez,
Hernandez,
yep.
I think
Saquon Barkley. Ooh.
I think Saquon Barkley is going to have a minimum of 1,500 rushing yards.
And they got Sterling Shepard and what's his name?
They got
Darius
Shepard,
Slayton,
Darius Slayton, Evan
Ingram.
Ingram. Like, I think that
That's
offense
true.
is
That's a slept on
extremely
offense.
underrated.
That's a
Like,
slept on offense.
like their big thing last year was Daniel Jones fumbling. I think that offensive line will be improved enough to where they're not getting beat to hell. Plus, Daniel Jones now has that first year rookie mistake stuff out his system, and he's been able to see it. He knows how quick he's got to be able to get the ball out now. He's got more of a chemistry with some of his guys like Shepard, Ingram, Barkley, Slayton, all these different guys. And I think that offense could be in the top half of the league. And the big question for me about that team is their defense, because they got pieces like they've got Leonard Williams, Dexter Lawrence. They've got my Alabama boy, Xavier McKinney. They got Love, who can play free safety or slot. They got Jabril Pepper. Like, they've got talent on the defense. It's just about whether or not their players can develop.
Wait, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't they still have Golden Tate as another wide receiver?
They do.
Yeah, that's...
He's old and past his prime, Golden Tate now, but that's still a veteran
reliable
receiver.
Yeah.
That's a veteran who knows how to play football in the NFL.
Damn.
Plus, one thing that a lot of people aren't talking about, Lorenzo Carter taking that second-year step. Lorenzo Carter was a guy I had a lot of faith in coming out. And I think him going into his second year with that team, he's going to probably be a guy who can get you about 8-9 sacks.
Yeah, I could see, especially like with those big guys up front eating up them blocks.
Oh, yeah, no. With guys like Leonard Williams, Dalvin Tomlinson, Dexter Lawrence, all those kind of guys, those are tubbies. Those are the Teletubbies.
Hey.
But, by the way, Teletubbies sponsor us.
Absolutely.
I want a screen on my stomach.
I want my face as the sun.
But anyways, they also had another signing that I was a fan of. They got Bradbury from the Panthers.
Oh yeah, they did.
Him and
ain't they get Kyler Fackrell? I was pretty high on him as well.
I don't know.
I know they got Blake Martinez. Ho, ho, ho.
That was a bad sign.
Oh, absolutely.
That was a really bad sign.
Yeah, he's terrible.
But, I mean, they've gotten by for years with bad linebackers. I'm sure they could do it a couple more. But I think the Giants are a team that could surprise people, especially if, like I said, Barkley is going off like I expect him to, and Daniel Jones takes that next step up.
I didn't really think about them until like you brought them up. Like, they really are like really slept on that offenses.
Like,
to keep an eye on.
I've gone through some of these offenses just looking at their like projected depth chart, at least. Just going through and looking at them, and they're one of those teams where, like, in your head you're like, nah, the Giants aren't going to be much, but then you look on paper, you're like, oh well, they got this guy, oh, and this guy, and this guy, and this guy, and so on and so forth, and that's why I got them as my sleeper team right now. I think at some point it's going to come together for them.
Yeah. You know, maybe Eli Manning comes out of retirement and leads him to another Super Bowl.
That would be very Giants-esque if Eli came out of retirement and somehow the Patriots are there and he beats the Patriots to lead them to the Super Bowl.
But not only that, he beats Tom Brady in the NFC Championship game.
The Buccaneers trade the Buccaneers trade Brady back to the Patriots after they lose, even though the trade deadline's passed, and then he beats them twice in one offseason.
Okay, here's an interesting one. Early MVP.
Early MVP? I don't have one for sure, guy. Can I give you two?
Yeah.
and this is no bias, Deshaun Watson. I think the offense is better for him now, and I think he'll be able to perform more to what he likes. So I could see him and his numbers skyrocketing. If not him, I'd have to go with either Mahomes, and it irks me to say this because I don't want them to have success because they took my favorite receiver, Kyler Murray. If not Deshaun, Mahomes or Kyler.
I don't think Kyler gets it because I feel like to win MVP, you have to make the playoffs, and I don't see the Cardinals making the playoffs, but maybe Russell Wilson. Like we said, he has no O-line, he has no defensive line, but that's been the case for the last few years, and Russell has carried them to the playoffs every single year. Like after the Legion of Boom days, he's carried them to the playoffs. Like I could see, like if Pete Carroll lets Russell Wilson throw the ball and doesn't run the ball like 40 times a game every game, I could see Russell Wilson like winning MVP.
But see, that's where I think Russell's chances get hurt because Pete Carroll has never done that. Ever. True. Like, I'm pretty sure he just paid fucking Carlos Hyde to come, even though they had Penny and Chris Carson.
Yeah, it's so annoying. Or what about a Drew Brees? Like, Drew Brees ain't never won a MVP.
Which is a crime.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I'm pretty sure he's had, like, the most 5,000-yard passing seasons of any quarterback ever.
Mm-hmm. Not a single MVP to show for it.
That's insane. That is absolutely insane. I would love to see, and it's the probability of it happening is extremely low. I would love to see a Drew Brees season, wins MVP, goes and wins his Super Bowl, hangs it up, and cements his legacy as one of the top 5 quarterbacks of all time, which he is.
Rides off into the sunset, man.
Absolutely.
What about a Defensive Player of the Year?
Who? Defensive Player of the Year is a tough one because a lot of the time it'll be a guy getting high amounts of sacks.
Yeah. I feel like you can't go wrong with an Aaron Donald, but that would be like a pretty boring...
That's like a cop answer.
Yeah.
If I want to be, like, unique...
I'm going to go with Danielle Hunter.
That is a unique one.
Yeah, he's, like, performs every single year, but he's, like, highly slept on.
I could see it. But if I'm going truly unique...
Chandler?
I love Chandler Jones. I don't think he'll ever get the respect he deserves. Because that man is always up there in sacks.
Yeah, him and Danielle Hunter both. Like, they should be, like, getting talked about, like, with the Von Millers and Khalil Max, but nope. No mention.
I think my pick for Defensive Player of the Year, if I'm being unique, Jalen Ramsey.
Ooh.
I think the Rams can create enough pressure up front that quarterbacks force it, and I could see Jalen Ramsey getting a 5-6 interception season. Plus, on top of that, he's already said that the Rams plan on having him play all over the defense. So I could see him being used like a Jamal Adams as like a pass rusher and blitz packages and things like that. So I could see him getting like 3-4 sacks on the year. He's always a willing tackler. I could see him racking up tackles. I just think it's a perfect situation for him to go in and shine. Plus, I don't think he got a fair shake in this half a season with the Rams.
Yeah.
Because I've talked about how Laramie Tunsil didn't get a fair shake with the penalties and stuff. Jalen Ramsey really didn't, because he was literally thrown into a situation where he was starting for a new defense, hasn't played with any of the guys on that team, didn't know the playbook, didn't know the coaches. It was just a rough situation, especially for a guy who hadn't been on multiple teams before. Mm-hmm. So I think that's my bold pick. What about you? What's your Defensive Player of the Year?
Well, yeah, I think I'm going to stick with Danielle Hunter.
Danielle Hunter?
Yeah. I think so, man. I think the Vikings are gonna win the NFC North, and I feel like Danielle Hunter's gonna be one of the big reasons why.
I could see it. I really could. But I think we should end it there.
Oh
We've been
yeah,
going
absolutely.
for
Almost
about
an
an
hour.
hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if you guys are still watching, comment down below or tweet at us. What are you most excited about this this upcoming NFL season?
And be sure to tweet it at BroadENT Pod on Twitter.
Yes, and follow us if you're not already doing so. So, yeah, is there anything else you would like to add on, Mr. Duck?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for listening.
No,
like,
absolutely.
Like anything makes my day seeing stuff for this. Like, I forget who it was, but I saw a good comment on the Broad Entertainment YouTube page, and it was like, I enjoy the podcast, something basic but something nice, and it made my day. I couldn't stop thinking about it for the whole day, and I had a goofy ass smile on my face too.
That's crazy. Like even though like we joke around about flopping and stuff, like we know it's like a process. We got to build our way up, but
oh yeah, no,
it's just not jokes.
When we talk about flopping, we're talking about mainly like we had high expectations for the podcast. Like, we were thinking like, oh, we're gonna get thousands of views, and which we realized was kind of setting the bar real high. But
yeah,
but no,
we're building up though. We're building up. Like, it's trending in the right direction.
But yeah, no, I mean, even if it's just 10 people who are loyal and listening, I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Like, I appreciate that people like take time out of their day to listen to a very smart person like myself talk to this moron for an hour every week.
You just can't appreciate my comedic genius, okay?
But yeah, guys, we definitely appreciate you guys for supporting us, watching these podcasts, whether it's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Like, we appreciate it. So, yeah.
But yeah, guys, be sure to tune in next week, and you'll get to listen to me park Sticky's ass.
Oh, no, we got something
fun.
Podcast
Podcast over.
Bye.